Hi everyone, this is Arpad from Starpath Academy, and I just want to share some thoughts with you guys and on some of why I do what I do and how I try not to do what I do, basically. If that makes sense, but maybe it will in a few seconds. So, I have a contact form on the About page of my YouTube channel, and people have been contacting me through that form, and I read all of them, and you guys have great ideas. I don't have time to answer all of them. I'm trying to make time and at least send you back an answer that I did read your comment, and I will consider it, and thank you very much. So if you have contacted me through that form, I did read it. I can tell you that. It's just I need to find the time to respond to all of them. But I do want to say that some of you have contacted me in order to have, a more personalized, plan, maybe. You're trying to shield yourself and your family from inflation, and that's admiring. That's exactly what all we try to do here. The issue with personalized advice is that I'm not a financial advisor, right? And even if I would give some opinion, right, my own opinion about your specific situation, I would not be able to take the risk for that, right? And you would have to assume all risk. And because I'm just a dude with opinions, and I went through some stuff, right? And I studied this and was waiting for this moment for a long, long time, or maybe the world will be in this situation that looks like we're going into. The problem is that I cannot give you personal advice because your comfort level and your family's comfort level might be very different, right? So I would need to know your plans, your assets, and so on and so forth. So much information that I would not feel comfortable knowing that about you, because I don't think that's right to do. I think I wouldn't want that for anyone else, right? I'm not in the zone where I would like to know all of that of you. It's for your own safety. I really try to take, even in business, when with some of my clients, when they are in software, purchasing software and such, like, I never want to be the guy that screws you over, even unintentionally. So I want to do such a good job that some jobs I just cannot take because of that, because I don't want the risk. I don't want the burden, right? Not necessarily liability in the sense of legal liability, because I can just tell my opinion, right? And knowing that I'm not an advisor, I'm not even a professional that way. And we could also sign some stuff, but I don't want the human burden of me giving an option to you, then you following that option, and then your neighbor screws you over because he saw where you were hiding your gold in the middle of the night, right? So just imagine the following situation, right? My grandfather was a farmer, and he was a very successful farmer just prior to communism, and he did industrial stuff when industrialization was actually coming to Eastern Europe, right? So he was very successful in order to bringing jobs, creating wealth in his little community back in Romania, right? But then he owned a lot of land, actually was purchasing more land. He didn't own too much land, but he was in the process of purchasing land because inflation was rampant, and he saw, okay, well, I can at least have land, right? Well, guess what? Communism came to Romania, and he lost everything. Not just that, he became a political prisoner because of that, right? So maybe someone gave him the advice, hey, purchasing land is a great investment hedge, right? And you can grow food and you can do all of that and you can help people, but then that wasn't really a good advice because it landed him in jail as a political prisoner, right? So what was a good advice in that situation? Well, someone crazy might have said to him that, hey, don't buy land, sell everything you have, buy gold and bury it in the ground, right? Somewhere way, way away from your house, maybe in a national forest somewhere or something like that up in the Carpathians, and then wait it out and see what happens, and then in 15 years go back and dig it up and flee the country or something like that. So who knows what's a good advice? Nobody knows. That's why I don't give advice. It's like I make calculations, I give my opinion, and I give possible scenarios and possible things that you could do in order to mitigate some of these scenarios, but nobody knows what's a good advice is. I don't even know how there are even financial advisors, or how some of these people on YouTube say that, oh, buy this because this will go up. Nobody knows. And even if it does go up, right, it might not be a good plan for you because somebody might screw you over because now you have too much wealth, right? And maybe it was just better, you would have been better off just having very little and being happy with your family. So I cannot give advice because there's no advice to give. It's your life. You have to draw your own conclusions. And yes, I could have made money giving people my opinions in the sense that privately, but there's also, I don't want too much private communication because, well, I want proof of what I said. I want to make sure that everything is recorded, even when I make conversations with others, because I want to say that, hey, on my end, I know everything, why I said it, when I said it, and who I said it to, right? It's for my own protection, because truly I'm just a guy on the internet trying to figure things out. So you have to understand that. And I would love to, help in one way or another. It's just personalized help is now, I would say, now you have meddled with the forces of the universe. And I don't want that. Because you have to come up with your own solutions. I don't know if you ever noticed, but whenever you help someone, then it not only, but most of the times it just causes trouble. If you stop helping them after a while, then you're at fault. Like, why did you stop? If you raise them up, right, in the sense you raise them up to a different level, but it wasn't natural, it wasn't from their own work, then when you let them go, they just sink back to where their natural level is, and then you will be at fault. Hey, why did you let them fall? I mean, it's really, everyone is entitled to their own suffering, because through suffering you get to learn how to crawl out of that space. That's my general process and general thought process behind it. Like I just give all of this out in the ether, and you can suggest topics, and I will give my opinion, my unprofessional, honest opinion about it. And sometimes I'm wrong, right? And sometimes I'm not so wrong. So a while back, someone from Sri Lanka asked me if I would give them personal advice for their family in order to how to protect themselves. And this was about almost a year ago. And I said, no, I'm not giving personal advice. But then look at what happened in Sri Lanka, right? I mean, the food crisis, everything. It's absolutely horrendous. The inflation there, right? So now I'm thinking, well, maybe I could have helped this family, right? And probably they would have even paid me to give my opinion on it. But I'm not even the ad revenue, or if you guys, buy me some coffees, or some of you have been very generous for sure. And, I all appreciate that, little or big. I really appreciate that, but I don't want this to be a job for me, in the sense that giving you advice. Because at that point it becomes a job. And it's sort of like my approach to healthcare as well. Like, I don't see very good solutions for healthcare, because if you're paying your doctor to to heal you, then it's almost they are incentivized for you to be sick, because that keeps them in the job, right? And then there's that old Chinese saying, or whatever it was, maybe it's kind of half true, of the Chinese emperor was paying the people, their healthcare providers, when he was healthy, not when he was sick. I don't know if that would work either, but it's almost like if you care for someone, you have to do it, especially if, you have to do it from the bottom of your heart, out of love. Right? And you go and you care for your family members, and you don't expect pay. You don't expect anything. You just want to help them because you want to see them in a better position. So I don't know what the best solution is. I mean, one way, I really want to help people. I really want to help personally your family if you want help, But that comes with baggage, most of the times at least. I don't know if I want that. I don't know if you guys can suggest a solution. That's why I try to do my best if you're a member, or if you are, a recurring commenter on YouTube, and you comment and you give some detail, maybe anonymously, that, okay, what you would like to know more about. I'll give my 2 cents, but even then, it's a totally different plan if you have $10,000, or if you have $100,000, or you have $10 million. It's very different. Right? This is a very, very simple example regarding gold and that sort of stuff. They say, and this is not me, right? It's not my opinion, but I think it's an opinion that I value in some cases, or in most cases, is have your net worth in 5 to 10% of your net worth in precious metals outside of the system. That means completely out. Not a number on the screen, not somewhere in the bank, like outside, right? And then not at your home, and not on your body, right? And then you have some very limited options that you have, right? So imagine saying that to someone, that they have 10 or $50 million. I mean, how can you give that advice to them? You have to come up with some different, completely new schemes in order to help them diversify through multiple countries, and so on and so forth. Where if you have like $10,000, having 5% is nothing, right? Is it really good for anything? Like, at that point, you might as well, I might as well just buy something that you can work your own land with, hand tools, a hoe, a shovel, right? Build your own garden, instead of spending 5% of $10,000 on a piece of gold. Yes, it might save you, right? But maybe that's not where you should start. Maybe you should be in silver or something like else. I don't know. So I'm saying, like, there's so many levels of this that you have to think about, right? And then, okay, you have $100,000, right? What you should do. I have my theory about the 4 safes that you have to have, right? As in safety boxes, right? Safes that you have to have, right? You have to have your fake safe in your home that the smash and grabbers can tear off the wall and take, and they think they have something. That's the very first safe you have. You have to have that. Then sort of the safe that you can easily get to, possibly have a firearm in there as well, that you store some cash just outside of the system, just in case electricity goes down. You still have some cash that you can purchase some food for the next few days, right? You have to have that second safe that's sort of acts as a safe. But if you're in the house and somebody forces you to open the safe and give them something, that's the safe that you open. The fake safe doesn't really have anything in it, right? Then you have to have your third safe, which is not even maybe on your property, or definitely not in your house, which is your actual safe that you have to have in order to store bigger value there, right? But who's the crazy person that will think that, okay, you have a third safe, right? You open the first one, they see nothing. Okay, you open the second one, that's all I have, right? You actually have 2 more safes, right? And the fourth safe is completely, maybe even outside. It's really just a place outside of the country, outside of the political jurisdiction that is you live in, right? You cannot get to that. It takes time, it takes effort and money to get to that, because all of that is just padding and safety. It's something you cannot give up, right? That easily, even if they force you to give it up. May that be any entity, including corrupt governments and so on. So there's so many levels of this. There's so many things you have to think about that it's just crazy to, I mean, thinking about giving this, take 0.1 to 12, all of these quote unquote opinions that some may take as advices, right? You look like a crazy person. Maybe you are. Maybe you have to be in this life a little bit in order to achieve something. I don't know. It's just I don't know if that's a solution. You have to think about where you are. Maybe some advices work better for in the Western countries, but the political situation is very different in Sri Lanka. I don't know if I can help you in Sri Lanka, right? You really need to consume so much of this content, and others as well on YouTube who, to be honest, they have to be cunning a little bit. They have to be smart. They have to be 2 steps ahead of the curve, right? And if they think that you're 2 steps ahead, and if they know that you are 2 steps ahead, then you have to be 4 steps ahead. You have to be so many steps ahead that your opponent thinks that you're only less than that ahead. And your opponent is the market, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I don't know how to solve this issue of me giving personalized opinion about your family and how to save and how to fight inflation. But what I can do is you can just put out more content more often. And then, yeah, I mean, I'll see what I'll do, but thanks for contacting me. I mean, if you have contacted me and you followed the channel and you have commented, then I mean, feel free to write feel free to fill out that contact form. I do my best. Never do personal information. Like, don't tell me your exact name. I don't need to know that. Don't tell me the exact country unless like you have specific political problems that you want to share. I just don't. Yeah, I mean, think about you're sharing information with someone on the internet. Like, I'm thinking like, okay, I won't share it, right? And I usually delete it, or I use my Proton Mail account or something like that. So it's like you're as secure as much as possible. But I'm thinking like, if you are sharing this information with me, like, that's not good, because you might be sharing similar information with someone else, and they might have a totally different moral compass than me. So you guys gotta watch out. Even like the members on Buy Me a Coffee, like, I don't know who the members are. All the members have access to your comments, right? And you have to watch out what you comment, how you comment it, because we are thinking differently, and in our methodologies of how we think differently, there will be people who will try to exploit that. So you gotta watch out. So, I mean, that's my 2 cents. All right, guys, thanks for listening.